Hello, welcome.
Hi,
Uh,
Toh. Thank you very much for inviting me. I feel very honored.
so Frances has kindly agreed to come to be one of our speakers on the 11th of February 2022 at the Integrative Health Convention virtual event. I'd like to introduce you to Frances Collier, who is a movement teacher. She has a background of being a professional dancer, performer, and is a trainer in many different forms of movement therapies, and also works with high profile performers, athletes, and actors in London. And we're very honored to have you here today, Frances, to tell us a bit more about your passion, which is really movement and how we can use it, and maybe how we can use it better.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. I really am so passionate about movement. I think it's been in my life before I was even born. So from when I was just a little girl, I looked at nature and how things were moving, and I loved mechanics and just was always playing with tangible things, building stuff, and just how to translate that into my body. And then I was very, very lucky that I fell into dancing, and it was a very creative way of dancing, and the music and the sensing and the interpreting and being characters and flowers and dolphins and all of that fairy stuff suited me very well. And then I actually became a professional dancer, and I was much more interested in how to relate to the music and how to make things work for your body that seemed impossible. How do you make the impossible possible? And I started studying anatomy, and I became, obviously you start to have little niggles, and so I started instinctively helping people and helping myself to try not to get injured. So injury prevention was very much from the word go, something that I grew up with as I learned about movement more and more. But it was all very based on, yeah, just the melody and the music and the quality of the movement, which is so special to dancing. And so I trained at the Rombe School in London, and then went on to having an international career for 20 years in repertory companies, ballet, contemporary, being rehearsal director, doing my own choreographies, and then being in the West End. And then 10 years ago, I transitioned into being more backstage and actually helping theatre companies and performers to not get injured, because suddenly they do 8 shows a week of a movement that's repetitive. And I thought, well, there's no point in sorting out your shoulder pain just as a shoulder pain. It's about how to reprogram the movement. And through working with people a lot, I've also fell into NLP, neurolinguistic programming, and I realized that the movement is a language. So how you change the language for your body is how you keep yourself from getting injured. So then with the NLP, how you change the language with your mind is how you keep yourself from getting injured in your mind. So the injury prevention very much became mind-body connected. And through the dancing with this sort of creative aspect and the somatic and the emotional, it became a very valuable combination. That because I was looking after the West End companies, they had traditional ways of physiotherapy and doctors and the whole traditional way of science medicine to look after them. But coming in as a dancer and a performer myself and bringing the aspect of that to them, it became this package that became very valuable of, well, maybe we need to change the language in your mind in order to change the language for your body in order to get you injury free, combined with all the knowledge of anatomy. And I've done loads of dissection courses as well, which are hands-on. And that, I think, for me, brought it all together, because suddenly the philosophy of that I had inside of me learning through the movement, I could see it on the bodies. And I went, look, it isn't just a muscle that has an origin and a beginning and an end. It is all continuous. It's all fascia, and you can pull on your foot and you see it move in your hip. And that's really how it works anatomically. And I've always felt that in my body, but to see it on the forms that we had the privilege of working with just brought it all together. And seeing how, you know, the whole, I don't know, the neurosystem, it's like tree branches, or you know, the fascia, it's like the waves of the ocean. And suddenly you have the creative aspect of nature and movement and flowing all in one. And I very much bring that into the movement quality, I think, of today. And with that, helping the body and the mind, but also seeing the person in their environment, which is sort of the third aspect of going, that's all very well to learn about your body. It's all very well to learn about your movement or about your mind, but how does it actually work in your life? Because you might have loads of kids, or you might have a commuting job, or you might not sleep very well, or you might go through a change of life. So all of these things that you're given to help you stay healthy, how are you integrating them realistically into your life? So obviously a performer has a very extreme way of living. It's, you know, they have shows till late at night, they have to be very active, it goes against their body clock, it's high intensity. I work with a lot of high profile actors, it's a lot of stress, 6 o'clock in the morning, makeup, having to be performing, I don't know, playing someone dying or something. So it's a very stressful, unorganic way of living. And having been able to work with them then also helps me translate it to people who have a bit more of a, should I say, normal life? I don't know. And so what can you do, you know, in your kitchen, in your bathroom, whilst you take a shower, whilst you're brushing your teeth, little movements of changing your way of your language that you use with yourself in your mind, looking into the mirror, brushing your teeth, telling yourself, you know, beautiful things, not, oh, I look really ugly, I look really tired. It's like, oh, today, actually, oh, I'm lucky I can brush my teeth, whatever it is, it's going to be a good day. So the language you use for your mind, the language you then use for your body. So whilst you're brushing your teeth, do your little movements, do your hip movements, do your spinal flow so that you're ready for the day, warmed up. So you're actually walking out into the day feeling well. And then you have little bits in between, whilst the kettle is boiling, or whilst you're cooking, or whilst you're in the car sitting at the red light, whilst you're walking, whilst you're on the phone with someone, tiny little movements for your mind and for your body. And that brings the health into your daily life. So no matter what your job then is, you have these little, it's like a structure in your life that just becomes second nature. So health gradually just comes into your life all the time a little bit. So you can only get healthier, because the more you do of it, the healthier you get. In a nutshell, not really a nutshell, a big shell.
Wonderful. So really for anyone really, and certainly it sounds like your high profile actors and all, you know, they sound like and your performers sound like certainly a lot of doctors that we know really highly stressed and highly strung and doing odd hours. I think they definitely probably benefit from something like this. But when we first met, one of the things you blew my mind was you were saying, you know, yeah, we aren't really taught how to move properly, are we? We just get used to moving 2 or 3 ways. Just like for our talks on breath work, we aren't really taught to breathe properly. We just, you know, instinctively develop a way. But yet, you know, if we have to be taught to swim properly, to swim better with a better form so that we can move faster. I was quite blown away by your thoughts about how we even walk, or which is why, you know, you sharing these things is so particularly unique, I think.
Thank you. Well, I think that's what I find very intriguing in a way of, where are the basics? If you learn a language, if you learn French, you don't start with like a major, you know, huge book of French. You start with tiny little words and you learn to put them together. And then you start, you study your grammar, and then you start building on it, and you have the theory and the practice. And you practice all the time a little bit. If you just have one class a week, or, you know, you go on holiday here and there, or it's not enough. You need to, if you really want to learn the language, you go there, you live there, and you speak it every day a little bit, and you learn it very quickly. And it's the same with our basic movements, which is, you know, people go, I'll go for a walk, oh, I always have pain, oh, I'll go for a run. No one teaches you to run. They just assume you know how to do that. No one teaches you how to sit, and most people do it all day long. And it's studying a little bit of, and again, that's where dancing comes in, because you have to study movements to quite a meticulous detail, and then you make it one flowing thing. So you spend hours just doing the tiniest little movements with your feet, with your toes, with just warming up, and people go, where is your training? Like, what do you do? And suddenly you have big jumps, and it's because it's the detail has been trained. It's a new neuro pathway process and programming. And it's the same for our everyday. We just assume that we know how to slouch in a sofa watching TV and think, why are we hurting our backs? Well, if you study how to slouch, it's okay to slouch if you do it in the right way. So whatever you do in your daily life, obviously try not to slouch. But then suddenly you learn to sit in a way that you feel comfortable because it makes more sense. It's comfortable to walk with your knees bent because it's actually softer on all your joints. So your body is going to look for that way of moving because it is more comfortable. So actually, if you sit on a chair and your body feels well about sitting that way, it will look for the comfortable way of doing this, which will be the healthy one if you train the detail in the right way. So yeah, and again, also, actually what I'm also very interested is the whole visceral aspect that I only found it a few years ago, which I find, again, very intriguing. I've been dancing all my life. I've been a professional movement body worker, anatomy, movement studies, you name it, I've done it. And it was only a few years ago through the dissection courses, actually, that I was like, what is this? Like, the gut and the organs, the bladder, the womb, the prostate, whatever, it's all there. It's really close by. So if I have a hip problem, of course it's linked to my gut, which could be linked to my diet, which could be linked to the way I sit, and also to my emotions, because a gut feeling is an emotional feeling. So if I don't sit in the right way, all of these aspects are affected. So if I start to move my hip in a way that's flossing and flowing and rivering, everything will river. My hip will be fine, my joint will be fine, my gut will be fine, my diet will be fine, my breath will be working, my diaphragm is working, everything will fall into place, and I'll feel comfortable moving or sitting in this way, just because I've done these little micro movements that make me feel comfortable and therefore healthy. So health can be, or comfort can be health if it's done in the right way. So I think it's really looking for the quality of the movement rather than saying which exercise or, oh, this is hurting, or, what else can I do? It's, well, look for the quality that works for, and also for your personality. Some people are fast, some people are slow, some people need time, some people need to be really on top of things, and get that quality that works for your body type and your personality in your lifestyle and your environment, to bring comfort, which brings quality of movement, brings quality of health, which brings quality of life. Win-win.
Wow. Look, you've got so much to deliver, Frances. It sounds amazing. We're really going to look forward to your talk on the day in February. Thank you for doing this talk with us, and look forward to seeing you then. And then we'll talk to each other more about lots of different things. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I'm very excited and look forward to seeing you there.